We all know the real estate success stories on social media, right? So great that you mentioned that also there's something that can go wrong, and it can cost you tens of thousands of euros if something goes wrong with real estate. So what do you exactly need to consider when you're buying a property here in Germany?
That's a good question. It's a very, very important question. Well, like before I mentioned, also check the savings, right? Check the reserves what this property has. Very important. Also with the example I gave you with the changing or to repairing the roof, right? Heating system. So this is very important. You need to consider the micro and macroeconomics. What I mean with micro, the area itself. Are there enough public transportation? Is there a bus stop in front of your door? Subways, train, doctors, supermarkets, schools, universities. So all these factors are very important as well. And also about the city, the area, how the city is growing in the next years, right? What was the past of this area, the city? So also have a concern about this. Macroeconomics itself surrounding, like if you scope a little bit outside, in general also Germany. I mean, our clients, they love to invest in Germany, right? So
rightfully so.
It's Germany is, if you compare it also to other countries like UK, France, Switzerland, and we still have great prices here. It's a very safe country. And on top, the legal situation, like the government gives you so many benefits if you're investing into real estate. So our clients love that, and it's also a very important factor if you're investing in Germany here.
You're actually getting benefits from the government only as a real estate investor, but we'll come to that later. Exactly. And in another video, which is different than in the UK, because the UK is actually penalizing you the more properties you have.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. Also, a big factor is the professional property manager. So if you are having a property in mind, you checked it, you checked also the documents, you also have to see what property is behind, like what property manager is behind that. Because it's very important. Otherwise, you will be left with all the administrative work, right? And you don't want that. I mean, the property manager also helps you in many things, right? But if you don't have a professional one, it's actually very bad for you. So you will end up with a lot of work.
You're not an investor, actually you have a second full-time job almost.
And you know how it is today with the time. I mean, everyone is busy, we have less and less time, so it's very important to have a property manager. Also tenant-wise, right? In most cases there is a tenant in this property. So also check the record of this tenant. Was the tenant on time with the pay? Did the tenant pay every month the rent? Was there any vacancy? So also very important what the tenant does. Check the contract, the rental contract, because you also don't want to end up having a tenant who doesn't pay, right? And then it's you who has to pay. So yeah, be careful with that as well.
Then you're double because the tenant doesn't pay and you have to pay the bank.
Exactly.
And Germany is very protective of tenants, as we are very protective of employees.
Exactly, and this is the case, and you have to give the bank the money, right? The bank will say, Axel, where is the money, right? So you have to really be on top of that, and you can't really afford any vacancy. So important to check that as well. We created a checklist. It's basically a fact sheet where you can see what is important to consider when purchasing a real estate. So 10 things to consider. I would love to share that with our community, and it's very, very helpful. Sometimes if you're a first-time real estate investor, you don't really know where to start, what to do, but by having this fact sheet and this checklist, you can kind of have an idea where to get with this. So I would love to share that.
The checklist is on our website, so hop over to perfinex.de, there you can download it and write thank you in the comments for Vanesa.